it's a couple joints I've been just like, damn, this shit is good, man.
Man,
This
I
is
appreciate
good.
it.
Well, let's not waste it. Come on. Let's do it.
Let's just get into it.
Yeah.
Word up. Yo, welcome to Beers and Bars,
your place for rapid fire hip hop discussion and of course great beer.
I'm Kamal Kiddo.
OT the Golden Child, man. Y'all, thank y'all for checking out our last episode. We were talking about Lil Sims and Baby King. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all check those projects out. Also, a couple weeks back, we still promoting everything we've been doing. Make sure y'all check out our interview with Jalen, dope R&B artist out of Coachella Valley, California. Make sure y'all check that one out. If this is your first time listening or watching, make sure you subscribe to us wherever you are checking us out at YouTube, Google Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all of that stuff. Got a guest here today. Long time coming. I don't know, man. Look, hometown hero. I'm from Maywood. You know what I'm saying? Born on the west side, moved to Maywood. The brother that's with us today is also from Maywood. We actually graduated together. A whole bunch. My kids go to this brother's barbershop. You know what I'm saying? So I see him like every other Saturday. Yeah. So go ahead, man. Just introduce yourself to the people, man.
What's going on, y'all? My name is J.Gryff. Like my brother O said, I'm from born and raised in Maywood. We're born on the west side of Chicago, moved to Maywood, and grew up there. Me and O go back to East, gym, hooping, and and all that, man. So I'm just honored to be here. Grateful for the opportunity. Looking forward to getting into it.
Word up, man.
Yes, sir.
J.Gryff, everybody.
All that good stuff.
What's up, man? That's what's up.
Come on, what album? Well, yeah, go ahead. Come on.
Yeah, we're going to get into what J.Gryff got going on. He just dropped a new project, Moment of Clarity.
Yes, sir.
We're going to talk a little bit about his journey and his album, his latest project. But before we do that, what are we drinking, gentlemen? What are we drinking?
I'm going to go first. Come on, man. I have today, obviously we talk about rap, but we also are some brothers that, we do the brew thing as well. I have from, actually, I don't even know, Kamal. So this is a part of them beers my wife had got me. This is from, oh my God, I'm wilding out right now. Junkyard Brewing in Minnesota. All right. Mm-hmm. This is a blueberry, blackberry, black currant sour. And the name of this is, it's a lot in here. So yeah, Johnny, you see, it's a lot going on. Yeah, so it's a sour. So it comes off. I haven't had this at all. And this is a huge can. But my wife got this from this Tavor app, which you can order beers from all across the U.S. on this app.
You said blueberry, blackberry.
Yep, you got to text that, bro. That was a lot.
Blueberry, blackberry, black currant sour, and the name of it is I Hope You Like Jammin. And I believe it is at 6.6% ABV. I really have to crack this because it's a sour and it was made in like June. So I really should drink this soon. I should have been drinking already because if you have a sour, most especially like fruited sours and whatnot, sours that have fruit contents within them, you want to kind of get to them a little earlier than later. So,
wow, you're good, man.
You guys are that was pretty good.
I'm learning. Look at that, man. I'm learning on this journey right now, man. That's what's up. J.Gryff, what you drinking, man?
Man, I am drinking voluptuous dark roast coffee.
There you go.
By Peet. It's a little Keurig joint. Hold on.
Hey, you know what's dope? We've never had coffee on the show. And
you're the first. You're the first.
Bars and beers. Yes, sir.
Look, listen, here's the thing though, and I also a lot of times I go to Peet's in the morning by me out here in Wheaton, and I do a little shopping, and I'll go right over there and grab me a what's the joint that give you a lot of energy? A little
they got a couple. They got a little cold brew joint.
A cold brew, exactly.
Yeah, get the cold brew. That's all you need for the day. You're good.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's what's up, man. Today I am drinking another from Hot Butcher. Got this a couple weeks ago, I believe. A while ago, I think. I'm not sure. But this is Bird of Epic Proportions. Bird of Epic proportions. Look at the little,
Nice.
a huge bird, little dude right there. You know what I'm saying? This is a Talus, Nectaron, and Simcoe hop double India Pale Ale. This comes in at 8% ABV.
All right.
Some of the tasting notes are citrus zest. What is this? Jammy stone fruit and ripe raspberry. I didn't actually. I'm looking forward to having
okay.
Right.
Bro,
like the funny
fruit?
thing, I've had this before, but I didn't know all of that was in here.
See, I'm not even a beer dude, but y'all make me want to try these beers for real.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I became a beer dude from doing the show, actually.
Wow.
And look at that. Look at that pour was horrible. Look at that. Oh my God. I'm gonna let that chill for a minute.
Let that marinate.
Yeah, man. Before I pour the rest.
And for those that are listening, if you want a little beerology, when people say stone fruit, as far as the notes on the beer, that's any fruit with a fresh or pulp enclosing a stone. So you know how plum has like the little so those are considered stone fruits. Just like
with a pit in it, you're saying?
Yes, a berry is considered a stone fruit.
Got you.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Look at that.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man. Salute to y'all, man. Y'all are real beer dudes. Y'all ain't this ain't no just name of the show, and y'all drinking some Miller Highlights or whatever.
Right.
Y'all
really out here.
Real beer dudes for real.
And listen, and yeah, man. I mean, pretty much, yeah. And we're novices. We're still novice as well. Like it's people out here who just really take it all the way up.
I feel like I'm much more of a novice than you are. You know what I'm saying? You heavy in the game. You put me on. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into J.Gryff, man. Let me take it back a minute. Before we get into a moment of clarity. Actually, moment of clarity might be a good place to start, but I do want to back it up. Let me start with this though. Because actually Village of Eternal Light, the second track off the album, actually is a good catch up to who you are, you know what I'm saying, and your journey. But before we get into that, what made you start rapping? There's many reasons why artists do what they do, but not only what made you start rapping, but what made you take the path that you took in making music, which is more I'm gonna say spiritual Christian based. And is that what you would even call it? What would you call it? Why did you feel a need to go that route?
Well, let's backtrack a little bit. So when I first started writing, I started writing my first rhymes around maybe 9-10 years old, just at home, playing around. And I wasn't really allowed to listen to hip hop like that growing up, like that's younger than 9. And so when the first hip hop artist I heard really that I gravitated towards was Wu-Tang. So that was the very first time I heard rap. Like I've heard, MC Hammer and all that stuff that back then in the early 90s. But that was kind of like positive rap. So I had never really heard like street rap or cursing over raps and all of that. And so my cousin introduced me to it, and I always mention her in a bar or two. She was the one that introduced me to hip hop. And so, man, I remember being in the car with her listening to Method Man's album. And I'm like, bro, I'm like 11, bro. I'm locked in. I'm like, yo, this is cold. This is dope, man. I just was just inspired to start like writing my own stuff. My name is Johnny, eat rappers like salami and all this, whatever I said back then. You know what I'm saying? And so I wanted to be
11-year-old bars. I like it.
Yeah, man.
I wanted to be the rapper dude. So, I just felt like it was an outlet for me to really express my deepest thoughts. And it's always been therapeutic for me, man. I've always wrote from that place of, reality, you know what I'm saying? And not, not just frivolously throwing out bars. I just always tried to have a purpose. Even back in, high school, when we was like, rapping at the lunchroom table and doing all that stuff. And so fast forward, to years later, I was a part of a rap group, and it was like 8 or 9 of us. We was like Chicago's, like Wu-Tang in a sense. And we did a lot of shows all over the place. And this is, this is all of this is secular stuff. I wasn't Christian. I just was out here trying to make it. I thought I was
the name of the group.
First Team. First Team. That was the name of the group. And man, it was a lot of us. And all of these guys some of them still active, some of them still do music, but we still guys. Those are my bros. But so yeah, fast forward past First Team, I remember, having this experience with God and giving my life to Christ around 2006, 2007. And when that happened, I just put music down. I'm like, I'm not doing rap no more. I'm not, it's demonic. And I was super religious at the time. And so I don't know, it was one day I was at my crib. It was so crazy. I was at the house cleaning up. My son was very, very small. He was probably 1 at the time. And I just got inspired. And I just, you know how it is. I just got inspired and I just started, producing. And I had just started kind of playing around with production. So I'm producing and messing around with beats, and I got some samples and some loops and calling my guys, send me some drums, man. I ain't got no drums. Send me some drums. So they sending me drums and stuff. And so I started creating again. And I'm like, okay, this is all right, cool. And one of my best friends, my boy Red Letters, he actually got saved before me. And so he really was the one that kind of really inspired me to do this Christian rap thing. And at the time I was like, bro, why you got to call it that? Why can't it just be hip hop? And that's a whole nother podcast. But we will actually we could get into that too.
Yeah, we got time, bro. So let's do it.
So he gets saved, and I'm in the studio. I'll never forget being in the studio with him, working on his first project. And I'm not saved at the time. I'm just a 18, 19-year-old, Maywood dude. I'm in there with him, and I'm vibing. I'm like, I can't deny the music. The music is really speaking to me, right? Speaking to me. And not too long after that, I gave my life to Christ, and then I started creating about 6-7 months later. And so that's when I started working on my first album, first full-length album, Window to My Mind. So, and I produced like 80% of that. And so you're not gonna believe what I produced it on. Nobody ever believes me when I tell them we produced these joints. We produced that album. Red was producing on PlayStation. Y'all remember the game?
Yeah.
MTV. What's the MTV? What was the name of it, bro? The Music Generator.
I know what you mean. It's some Casting Carbonell that was doing. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So he produced on there.
I was just about to say, people definitely was producing on that joint. I've heard.
Yeah. And so my boy Manny produced some joints on there too, and I produced on the Xbox. And I did what I could, but nobody was like. Everybody was like, "Yo, what are y'all making these beats on?" And I'm like, "Yo, this joint is on the video game." And so we sampling. We was limited. We couldn't do too much, like play bass lines and keys and all that stuff. But
yeah, we
got it done, man. And so I strongly believe in just using what you got, to maximize what you got. So that's the first album.
Was Got My Strength on there? Was Got My Strength on that? Oh my God. Come on, I'll send you that joint. I'm gonna send it to you.
Yeah,
that's my introduction to you, even as like, damn, what J.Gryff, what is going? Because you put that joint on Facebook back in like 06, 07.
Yes, yeah.
And that joint just was like, I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I had like a little lyric video we did with it, because we ain't shoot nothing, but yeah, that was my first like album. But I never looked at it as like Christian rap or like Christian hip hop. I never looked at it like that. I just was trying to do good music, you know what I mean? I've always looked at it like that. I did have a period in time where I was kind of lost in that title in a sense, because I felt like there was a group of people that wasn't in the church that I was really speaking to, you know what I mean? So it was a lot of guys, my cousins and stuff, that got out of prison, and they listening to Window to My Mind and like vibing to it. I'm not getting called by churches and ministers and stuff for rap at churches,
right?
You know what I mean? I'm speaking to the people that's around me. So I kind of was just kind of on that. And so that's why, for a long time, I was like, I didn't want to be labeled that. And I would get really kind of like, don't call me that, bro, and all that, but at this point, I said it on the light source. I'm like, am I a rapper that's Christian or a Christian rapper? That's for you to decide. What else I say? That's for you to decide. It's something, I forget the bar. But I don't, whatever people want to call me, that's on them. I like us. If the first time you heard me was My Strength, you probably like, man, this brother, he's saved. But if the first time you heard me was Black in America, you like, yo, all right, man, this brother is all about the people. But when you put it all together, it's like, no, this is who I am.
It's
fully.
who you are.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah, no,
Case,
I think that's dope though. You know what I'm saying? I don't know
yeah,
now what would you call yourself now? Do you still have that same sentiment or like
yeah.
how do you feel
I'm
now?
just a hip hop artist. I'm
Okay,
just a hip
cool.
hop artist because I think hip hop is nobody else does this but Christians. Meaning, like, um, when I say that, I mean like Jay Electronica is not a Muslim rapper.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying, who is it? I think Drake is Jewish, I believe.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
I could be wrong, but Drake doesn't like call himself a Jew. Like, so it's like my beliefs don't need to be like the front. Like, you can clearly
Correct.
hear what I
I
believe.
agree. I agree.
You know
I
what I'm
was
saying?
just
I ain't
about to
trying to
say,
hide
like,
anything.
yeah, I was just about to say, I agree with that sentiment of not labeling it as such and you just presenting yourself as you.
Yeah,
And
it's like a
I
Christian
think that's dope,
barber,
man. I
whatever.
agree. I agree. For sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
so that's kind of, I don't. I just want people to hear the music, and I know you put that title in front of it. People, I don't know. So, and then there's some trash Christian rappers out there. A lot of them not trash, but it's some trash ones, and I just, yeah.
And if I'm gonna be perfectly honest, when I think of quote unquote Christian rappers, you
Mm-hmm.
know, coming up, you know, I never thought that any of them were really any good. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Until maybe,
This,
you know, Lecrae is cool, but I've
yeah.
never, you know, really checked
Well, Lecrae.
for Lecrae like that.
I
But there
rock
are
with that.
other artists, you know, like I stopped. I mean, I wouldn't even call myself. You know, I grew up in the church.
Yeah.
I and this is gonna be crazy, but I really like me and my homie. You know, we decided we was gonna stop cursing in like 5th grade. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
I don't really, you know, even when I was rapping in college and all of that, you know, I wasn't cursing in none of my raps, but you know,
Right.
I didn't see it as such because I would still talk about whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Right.
But I don't know,
And
man. That's you know, I like that sentiment of just presenting yourself as yourself and not
yeah. And
necessarily
I do think there
labeling.
was to be fair, I do think there was a shift in Christian hip hop because I would say from 2007, 2008, like we was going super hard. And if you wasn't like preaching, you wasn't really considered, you know what I mean, a Christian rapper. And you wasn't, you know, you was kind of ostracized, like meaning preaching through your music and preaching on the, you know. And so now I think guys like Lecrae really kind of broke that mold away, like, because, you know, we got other things that we want to talk about. And so not just our faith, you know, we love our faith, obviously that's who we are, but we got other things we want to talk about. And and he got crucified for saying, like, talking about social justice and all of this other stuff. A
Wow.
lot
By a lot of Christian nationalists, by a lot of his fans who,
Wow.
white, a lot of, I'm gonna just keep, we on the podcast, right? We're gonna be honest, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He was, a lot of white evangelicals really wasn't feeling that. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't really feeling that. And it made him kind of take a step back and looking like, yo, what am I even doing here? What am I doing? You know what I'm saying? And so when you a Christian and you rap and you're in the church and you serve in the church or whatever, and I say this on word, what's the name of it? I can't remember the name of my songs. The second joint. That's how long I'm trying to get this album out of my head. But word to the wise, I say grown man bars, these raps aren't for kids. Because as a Christian, they, you know, in the church, bro, they constantly try to put you with the kids, and you're gonna be with the, okay, you're gonna rap for the kids later on. You're gonna rap like, bro, I'm 38, dog. I'm sitting here on the Beers and Bars podcast. We drinking
Right.
We got kids running around and taxes. I can't relate to kids. You know what I'm saying? I love them, but I'm not a KB. You know what I'm saying? When you look up Christian rap, he's the quintessential. He's the GOAT of it right now, bro. His concerts be looking like Travis Scott is there. Yeah, and these kids go crazy, but that's his lane, and that's his lane. I wanted to create a lane for us. You know what I'm saying? What can you play in the car with your kids? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And your wife, and just kind of get away from the street rap and the. Sometimes we need a break. We need can we talk about something that's we actually are going through? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? As men, as you know, as adults. So yeah, man. So I don't mind. I mean, I don't care what people say as far as the Christian rap thing. If that's what you want to call me, that's fine. If not, I'm just, in my mind, I'm just a hip hop artist. You know what I'm saying?
So Moment of Clarity is coming out in 2021. This is after a crazy 2020 with the pandemic, after, George Floyd and all types of just weird civil unrest, and a deadly virus, is a global virus, is affecting the world. Why now? Why bring this album out? When did you record this album? Let me ask that. When did you record this project?
I started recording this album last summer. So last summer, all the way up until literally probably last month. I started, the last project I put out was 24/8. That's what me and my bro, Red Letters, he produced it. And we just wanted to do some grimy hip hop stuff. And so during those sessions, I was still recording songs after we had finished. And so I'm like, man, I may put out a little EP. And so I did like 4 or 5 songs, and I'm just kind of sitting on them for a little while, vibing to them. And then I just kept recording. And I'm like, man, I got 8 songs now. All right. Okay. All right. Well, let's see what we got. And I sit on the joint for a while, sit on it. Okay, man, this one needs some keys. This one need this one need that. Mm-hmm. Go back to it, tighten it up.
Are you producing these tracks, or is Red Letters? So I'm saying on Moment of Clarity, who's producing?
I produced 7 songs on here. Yeah, I produced 7 songs on here. And I just kept recording. And typically I don't do like batch recording, meaning like just record a whole bunch of songs and then just I never do albums like that. I always like pick out the beats first and, pick out the transitions first. I kind of map it out like that. That's how I've done every single album I've ever put out. So with this one, this is the first time I'm like, I ain't have nothing to do. I can't cut hair. You know what I'm saying? The shop is closed. And cause we did 24/8 in a week. We did that in like a couple, like literally a couple of days. And I just kept recording. So I'm just down here vibing, recording, buying beats and producing, and and next thing I know, I got like 11, 12 songs. And it's probably like March. And so I'm like, man, I should drop this in May. I'm May 17th. That's my anniversary. I always try to drop music on like days like that. Yeah. And so May rolls around. I'm like, no, it's not done yet. That's when I started telling people I'm working on something. And probably from there until August, every time I sing, hey, what's up with the album, bro? The album done? You know what I'm saying? So, but I spent a lot of time on, obviously the production it took a lot of time, put a lot into that, and put a lot of time into the sequencing of the album and making sure the songs matched and changing stuff at the last minute. Like I recorded Legacy, bro. That was like one of the last joints I recorded.
Wow. I like that joint too.
Thank you. Because I feel like it was missing that. I feel like when I had all the collection of songs sitting here and I'm going through the songs, the playlist, and I'm listening to it over and over and over again, I'm like, I need a banger, man. I need something that's going to smack them in the face. Like soon as, they get through the first couple songs. And so I went on BeERZ, looked up a couple trap beats, bought that joint. And so, and so August rolled around. I'm like done with the album, and I'm like listening to it, and I'm feeling and when I'm done, I typically will send my music out to a couple of my friends just to get some really unbiased feedback. Like, okay, am I tweaking? Because I ain't never did this before. I ain't never sung like this before. What do you thought? What do y'all think? How does it sound? Tell me if it's trash. If it's trash, tell me, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so they all like, bro, this is the one, bro. This is what the heck? This is crazy. And I'm like, are y'all just gassing me, bro? I'm like, is this for real? Like, because I had never done an album that I feel like encompassed completely me, like fully. You know what I mean? That makes sense. And if you know me, you'll and if you've been listening to the music along the way, you'll know what I mean. Like, I feel like this album, man, it fully not embrace, but just encompasses me as an entrepreneur, as a husband, as a dad, as an MC, as a producer, as an entrepreneur, as a believer. All of these things, like all of these themes, come through in the album, man. And so I definitely wanted to pay homage to Maywood. I feel like without that time there, growing up there and, going through what we went through there. And I don't tell people we had a hard childhood. We had fun. We did. We had fun. We grew up in the hood, but we didn't realize it was the hood until you get older. You look back like, I was best friends with that. He just shot 8 people. He was in my backyard playing basketball with us. Like, you know what I mean? You don't realize it, but and so yeah, man, I just wanted to put something together that felt good to me, and just not too serious, not too preachy. And I really wanted to make something that just felt good, that people really was like, yo, this just feels good. I felt like we needed something like this. And so, because the whole album had a different idea when I first started recording. I wanted to do this like feel good Anderson .Paak sort of vibe, not really rapping, just kind of, but it turned into this.
Yeah.
So,
no, this is a very personal album, and not hearing, like, I heard this and then sent me Love, so I heard that.
Yep.
Yes, but with not hearing any of your music and hearing this first, this is definitely the perfect introduction to who you are. There's definitely a lot of personal things in here. But just to go through it real quick, let me ask you real quick, since it's the first track, why the intro, with it being so personal, and with every track being close to you, why start the album with The Ghost of Fred Hampton?
Fred Hampton is one of my heroes, and he's from, born and raised in Maywood.
Talk to him.
You know what I'm saying? 17th, and went to Proviso East, and walked the same halls we walked the same streets we walked, and we got a pool named after him. And I feel like what he did to be so young, it always struck, even as a teenager. I remember having to write, all of us probably had to write papers on Fred Hampton, but having to write a paper on him, and just kind of stuck, like, why did he, like, dang, bro, he was 22 when he died? 21?
Yeah.
And so I just, 21. The impact, and I felt like his he gets a bad rap from people who don't really understand the movement and what the Black Panthers was about. I mean, we got free lunches in schools right now because of Black Panthers. You know what I'm saying? They did that. You know what I mean? Nobody was on free breakfast, and the public schools adopted that from them. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this dude is a hero in my opinion, and a hometown hero. And I just wanted to kick it off with that speech and what he was talking about. Like, yo, I love what he said. He said, we're not a racist organization at all. And if you've seen the movie, because some people, that was their first time, really knowing about Fred. And seen the movie, it was like, yo, this dude, and it's kind of always the same way, right? With all of our heroes, when it got to the point where he was like, this can't be a Black thing. This got to be a human thing.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying? When he got to that point, he meeting with the essays, and then he went to the white neighborhoods and met with them, and he went over here to meet with these people, and he started bringing everybody together. That's when they took him out. Bruh. That's when they took him out. Same with Malcolm. The same thing.
With Martin.
Same with Martin.
He was when he started doing the same kind of thing, coming up to Chicago in Cicero, meeting with, more, taking on more of a socialist aspect and whatnot, kind of bringing the working class together, regardless of what you're.
Yeah.
That's a whole. We could do a whole
whole thing.
I'm saying, that's
So I'm like, man, bro, I got it. When I heard that speech, I'm like, I'm definitely kicking this off with Fred, because I had the instrumental for a while, and I produced that, and then we'll go through the tracks I produced. I produced that joint, and so I was like, should I just start it off with nothing on it? And I'm just listening to him, I'm like, no, man, we're gonna put Fred on here, man. We're gonna put Fred on here. And so we kicked it off with that. And the next track, Village of Eternal Light. If you're from Maywood, you know that's the tagline.
Yeah.
And so
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's where the title came from. People thought I was being extra spiritual, and I'm like, no, you just don't know, bro.
Yeah.
I immediately
when I
didn't know. I mean, I didn't know exactly where that came from. I didn't necessarily see it as necessarily spiritual, but I just didn't know. But
yeah, and next time you drive through,
next
time you drive through Maywood, if you see a sign that says "Welcome to Maywood," right underneath it's gonna say "Village of Eternal Light."
Yep.
right there.
Wow. Yeah, no, that was a good I definitely thought that definitely caught me up as to who you were as an artist, who you were as a person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man, it's another J.Gryff out here, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
thought it was a good introduction. I thought it was a good
yeah,
introduction.
thank you, man. Thank you, man. And I produced that one, and actually the album was a lot longer than we have what we have now. It was way longer than this.
Wow.
Village of Eternal Light was about 3.5 minutes, and I cut it down. Not the bars were still the same, but I switched the beat at the end and kind of went into this like real kind of dreamy vibe, and I'm listening to it. I'm like, they probably gonna skip this part. This is just for me. Let me just cut this out. And so I cut it out.
That's real.
Yeah. And so when I'm done, man, my process, I try to listen to albums, the albums that I create, is if it's not me, because I know when I'm gonna skip on. I know when the energy drops in the album, and you know how you get to that last, you be like, oh, okay, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I just kind of wanted to create an album purposefully, like they're not gonna know where they at. All they got to do is put this on. They're not gonna know where they are in the album. And I was really inspired by Tyler, the Creator's album.
We've been saying that all since it dropped.
Yeah.
Look, I ain't gonna hold you. Listen. So the more I've been listening to your album, I really have been catching the transitions as to when you say that now. I can tell how you can be inspired by that, because you have some nice, especially towards the end. So for example, Moment of Clarity and Glorify You go perfectly into each other.
Yes.
Right? Moment of Clarity is I got Moment of Clarity and Glorify You on my favorite song.
Yeah.
And Moment of Clarity is probably my favorite joint. I think it's
thank you.
Production is crazy. Who produced that joint?
I got that. I copped that beat from a guy from the UK, and when I heard it, I was just like, oh my God. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Charge me whatever. I need this. And I played some keys. I touched every beat on here. Little stuff, little minor stuff, but that don't even need to be mentioned. But little minor stuff. But I love the transition from that beat, and I felt like it helped me really tell the story a lot easier. And so it was just, I was just as amazed as you.
I was gonna ask if you played keys, man, because it's a lot of keys on the project.
I play by ear. I'm not a musician. I don't consider myself. I am a musician, but I don't really. I just give respect to the craft, because when you at church and you see these guys,
I was gonna say when you grew up in a church, you like, nah, I'm not.
I'm not that. And I wasn't raised in church, by the way, as well. So they those guys are they on another level. It takes me a lot longer to play than than them. They be like, oh, that's a C song, and they go right into it. Yeah. And so with me, I kind of go off of what I hear and what I feel, and sometimes I got to search the keys, and I'm like, oh, I found it, okay, and then I do like that.
Let's do this. What joints on here did you? Because I was telling Kamal how, I mean, obviously, we talking about you rapping and whatnot, but people don't know if this is their first time, your introduction, that you co with the production as well. What joints? So 17 joints on here, 53 minutes. Which of these joints did you put down as far as the production is concerned?
So I produced Ghost of Fred Hampton. I produced Village of Eternal Light.
Crazy.
Thank you, bro. I produced Tonight.
Okay.
I produced let me see what else. I produced King. And I produced We Honor. Okay. And also I did the drums on Words to the Wild. No, I did the drums on Uncle's Wisdom. So that the drums sounded different. Okay. And I redid the drums on Uncle's Wisdom, and I played some keys on Believe It. So those are the joints I did.
Believe It is one of my favorite joints, man.
Thank you.
Definitely production wise, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you. It had a completely different beat. And it just didn't have no life. I feel like the first beat I created from start to finish, and I kept that song for a while, and I'm like, man, when I'm listening to Uncle's Wisdom and Tonight and Dreams and Moment of Clarity, I'm like, this just don't fit. I'm like, I almost scrapped it.
Wow, no.
And so I ended up copping this beat, and then I just added some fillers in there. to it, and I'm like, this the one. This the one. So I'm like, I needed another banger right after Legacy, or else they weren't gonna listen past that. So
okay.
40 Days, 40 Nights. That's probably one of the most personal songs on here. What a journey. I thought it was very interesting, you know, as far as the structure of the song and the decision to switch the beat. You know, the first half of the song is a trying tale, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to hear that information, you know what I'm saying? Even if one of my homies was to tell me that, you know what I'm saying? But then to end it on a positive note with all, you know, with all the information that's in this song. How did your girl feel about it? How did your wife? Is it your wife?
Yeah, wife. Yeah.
How'd your wife feel about it? Yeah. Why did you feel it important to bear such a personal situation on record like that for the world?
Man, I felt like that was going through that with my son was one of the hardest things I've ever went through, right? Obviously. And once again, this goes back to the way that I cope with things. The way that I cope with things, I write, you know what I'm saying? I write music, and that's the way I get things off. I just got to do it in a tasteful way where it's received and not making you, you know, I'm not going to write something that's going to make people feel bad, you know, at the end. Outside of Love is Blind, and we'll get into that. But, you know, I felt like this song, when I heard the track, I had those lyrics to another track, and I might get this, just didn't fit up over time. It just didn't fit. And so I found this track here, and I bought that from the producer. And it was 2 tracks I bought. Obviously, the beat changes in the middle. And at first I recorded the same, the song over the whole thing. And I'm like, no, the second half of this is a little different. Like, I can't just kind of, and so I'm like, okay, let me switch the beat a little bit, you know, and then I love the way it came out, like perfect. 2 different hooks. It's like 2 different songs. So it came out perfect. But I decided to put that on the album, man, because I felt like people need to hear that. And from what I've heard from people reviewing the album, listen to it, they've just been saying they were so like blessed by the vulnerability I put out on this album, and how that's been missing from hip hop in general. Like, I feel like we just been partying for 20 years, and you know what I mean. And so people would, if you know me personally, you was there, you know, you come to the barbershop, remember me telling you about my son. And I just wanted to put the story out there, man, as to, you know, what we actually did. We literally did pray for him to be here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't just say that. I'm not being over spiritual. We were trying to have kids for a number of years, and we just had a couple failed pregnancies. And I remember a couple years ago, 2018, we really just was like, man, God, if you want, like, man, why aren't we having children? You know what I'm saying? Like, and we was really trying. We got this big old house built, and just, you know, we was really, really trying. We feel like we was doing everything the right way. And we wrote out a prayer list. I think I still got it. I should have brought it. I should, you know, brought it down here. But we had a prayer list, and we prayed, man, every day till she was pregnant. We literally prayed until she was pregnant. And that was the first time we ever did anything like that serious, where we just kept, you know, asking God. And then it got to the point where before she was pregnant, we just was like, all right, well, maybe we're just not gonna have kids, because we had 40 something days at this point. And we praying, and then she ended up pregnant. And with my wife's condition, she has lupus, and so she was already high risk. And so just walking through the pregnancy was hard as well, and just kind of like walking on tippy toes, and you just don't know if you're gonna lose the baby, you know how things go. And so fast forward to him being born, he came out early. He was born at 24 weeks. So you have children, you already know, that's very, very early. So he was born at 24 weeks, and he had a number of issues, and he was in the hospital for about 8 months. So yeah, he was in the hospital for 8 months, and I tell y'all, I mean, like, yeah, y'all know. I mean,
how old is he now?
He's 2 now. Yeah, he's 2, and he came to check this out. He's in the hospital, born on July 3rd, 2019, and he came home in February of 2020, and he came home right before the pandemic hit. Like, I'm talking like 2 weeks before the pandemic hit, bro. And yeah, that would have been, because they weren't letting parents see their kids in the hospital at the time.
Wow.
When the pandemic hit. So yeah, me or my wife would have been in jail for trying to break into the hospital. So, but yeah, I felt the need to tell that story, man, and give God the glory for it, because it wouldn't have happened. He wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. So yeah, I wanted to tell that story, and I didn't want to end that, just leave it there and end it on a bad note. But I just want to tell the truth. So
yeah. No,
my wife was she's very emotional. Obviously, when she heard the song, I was emotional during the song. I cried. You know, you could probably hear it. You know what I mean? Like, it was one of the hardest songs to do, but it was necessary. I'm like, I feel like it was needed, and yeah, I'm proud of how it came out.
I was in the gym. I was in the gym listening to it. I hit you on IG, like, man, I'm in the gym trying to work out, and this song got me tearing up at like 5 minutes. It's 5 a.m. I'm trying to get my Hulk on. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's one of the most important things, man. You know, when going back to, you know, you being the artist that you are, and obviously people will say, oh, Christian rapper, this and that. Look, I think that within what you do and other artists like yourself, these types of stories are what's most important, because I think you said on the album, if you got a testimony and you say it,
right. That's right.
You can, your music, it doesn't, you don't come off like, you don't come off preachy. You come off as like, walk with me, right? Like, this is the journey. This is the journey. Walk with me, and that's just so special. But come on, what were you about to say? Go ahead.
Yeah, no. I definitely agree with those sentiments, man. You definitely do come off as walk with me, and that's one of those songs that I think, don't get me wrong, I like the party joints too. But I definitely, over the course of this show, I've definitely said I like autobiographical raps.
Yes.
And that bring us into the life of an artist. And, that makes it, you are able to connect more with the people that you are listening to, because, all of these artists out here, all these rappers and singers and whatever you do, they still human. You know what I'm saying? And they go through things just like everybody else. And to be able to connect with a story like this, that's so honest. Like, I had a homie that I used to work with whose girl had lupus, what I'm saying? And he used to talk about how, matter of fact, I had a guy that I used to work with that had lupus that passed.
Wow.
Jay Dilla had lupus.
Yep.
And made donuts on his deathbed. You know what I'm saying? And, to hear you talk about it, and to hear, somebody that grew up in the church, and to hear you talk about, the first half of that song. And if you don't know what we're talking about right now, those who are listening or watching right now, you got to go hear the song.
Pause the pod.
Right.
Go listen 40 to days, song. 40 nights. Come back and pick up here.
It's an honest human emotion, human situation. You know what I'm saying? Life ain't all about partying. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And to hear that song, it's like, yo, that's so honest, but it's like, it's like one of those movies that has a rough start, but has a happy ending. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I feel like, artists like, we grew up listening to DMX, we grew up listening to Nas, Jay, those guys. And the albums that had the biggest impact on me personally was the albums that like came from a real place. I remember like going to New York for the first time and riding through Queens and was like, yo, Nas was rapping about that. Is that the projects? Like, that's what, you know what I mean? Like, and so I'm a huge Nas fan, like on the storytelling and stuff. And you could probably hear the inspiration from him in that. And I don't know, man, I've always connected with albums and music that was honest, man, that was real and that was honest. And I feel like as a Christian, I feel like there ain't enough of that. That's being this Jesus is the thing. Hey, Jesus, it's like, bro, all right. How was how's your marriage? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you watch porn? Do you struggle with watching porn? Like, are you know what I mean? Like, are you a human, or you just you at church all the time? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's so real, man. You know that's what I'm saying. That's probably why I felt for the longest time Christian rap. It's just corny, man. I don't know. No, I can't say I know like a Christian rapper that's like,
if you check out the guys I had on this album, you'll rock with them.
Yeah.
Isha Burgundy, Giano. It's a few of, I would say, us, because it's different. We're not considered with the like, we're not those guys.
Yeah.
So it's a couple of us that's, Toby Nwigwe, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's a Christian.
My baby, her favorite joint. She could rap a fat whole verse off of and he ain't even do his beat like Kanye. Look, and I ain't kept like, she know the whole fat. So yeah, shout out, bro.
That's
man.
Funny.
Yeah, shout out to Toby, man. So it's a bunch of us, man, and I would say Toby in particular is really kicking in the door for something different. And
I don't even know what that
sure.
is.
Yeah.
That's some.
He's
got a dope aesthetic. He's just
all the
got
way
like
around.
It's his whole thing is part music but part visual too. Like,
bro,
you don't have him without the visual aspect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But to be fair, I do think though, and I know you guys talked about Donda a couple weeks ago. I do think though, because everybody's comparing my album to Donda. And so
okay, go on, because I got something to say about that.
Okay. And so I do feel like Kanye West made it easier for people to hear Christian themes in rap that don't listen to Christian rap or gospel music or anything like that. I do feel like he's made it more palatable for people to hear like Jesus is Lord and not like, oh, you know what I mean? And so I do think that's part of that helps guys like myself and Toby's and other people that's, trying to do this thing and in a different light. So what were you gonna say about that?
I just really wanted to say that what I would agree with what you're saying. He definitely has made it more palatable. I do believe that one of my guys, when he did the Jesus is King, one of my guys was saying that like, this is all marketing. And to a certain extent, yes, it's marketing, but at the same time, I do think that he is trying to go a different route. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He has
like, Kanye Christian.
He's changing his viewpoint on things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he's changing his music. And I think this is a good example of how it can be done and talk about different things and, have God in the center of it and have songs, you know what I'm saying, with West Side Gun and, all of these different artists.
Had them dudes rapping about God.
You know what I'm saying? So bleeped out nigga.
It wasn't no.
I'm sure he told them, all right, no cursing, but he bleeped it out.
Yeah, no, he definitely didn't tell them no cursing. He just told them to just do y'all, and then he bleeped it out.
Himself.
He probably told Jay don't curse, and Jay didn't curse. You know what I'm saying?
He didn't curse. Right, he didn't curse.
But
it's like, I think that I don't know if it's because I I've been listening to other music, like that or whatever the case may be. But, when I heard your project, I didn't know, OT didn't tell me nothing like, yo, you got to listen to this Christian artist, J.Gryff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just listened to it. And it sounded sonically, it sounds really good, like lush and full. And, you know what I'm saying? It sounds really good production wise. You know what I'm saying? And, just hearing it, man, this is good. This is, it's personal, it's honest. This is
I was really trying to, like Royce the 5'9" said a couple weeks ago, I was trying to check boxes, man. I really was. Like, I had never done a record like Tonight. You know what I'm saying? Where it was just like, yo, I'm just picturing in my mind as I'm writing it, like just me and my wife hanging out, chilling with my kids, and we're just gonna forget about COVID. We're gonna forget about the racial injustice. We're gonna forget about our businesses. We're just gonna have a great time, tonight. You know what I mean? And that's was the inspiration behind it. I had never done a record that felt like that, or like kind of a bouncy. So I was really trying to play around with different styles, and same with Believe It. I was trying to do something a little more performance driven, but still with a message. And and obviously Legacy was just like, I just need a banger. I just need to slap them in the face with a bang. But yeah, man, I feel like this album was, I said it on Facebook the day before it dropped. I'm like, this is my best work. And I ain't never said that like publicly prior to putting out a project. I'm always like, well, just let me know what you guys think about it. And just let me if you guys like it, it'll be great. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, praise God, right? But I told my wife, and we kind of had a spat about this, believe it or not. I'm like, man, babe, I really feel like this is, my best work. I'm just, and I don't really care if don't nobody else think so. And she was like, well, just don't be too high up on yourself, man. Don't get too, I said, well, no, I'm not. I'm like, I really feel it. I feel like, and as an artist, you kind of just know, man. You just kind of feel it. Like, I'm listening to this album. I'm like, yo, this is undeniable. This is undeniable. This is not me putting myself on. I'm better than you. I ain't just none of that. But when it's like a good haircut. Like I know when it's good. I'm an artist. I should know when it's good. You guys know when the podcast is good and when the conversation is good.
Yep.
And then when it's like, man, we ain't really, you know, you kind of know, right? Yeah. And so we had a spat. And so when the album, came out and we got a lot of good feedback, man.
No. 40,000 on Spotify. Ain't no
label, no ticket. This is it.
We ain't trying to hear no good feedback. No, 40,000.
That's hard,
bro. We debuted at number, and we got all the way up to number 18 on iTunes. I was like, dude, I couldn't believe it. I could not. I'm sitting on my couch, bro, and I'm looking. I'm like, whoa, we at number 40. We started off at 40, and then I kept checking it, and I'm like, okay, we at 37. All right, cool. Okay, cool. Maybe we'll get the top 20, maybe. And then later on that night, I checked it again. That joint said number 18, and I just fell off the couch.
You was ahead of Ye for My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy because he was getting those spins from Donda. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He getting those trail spins from Donda. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Whoa. So that joint debuted at number 18, and yes, I'm getting my own plaque made. I don't care what nobody say. I need that in the studio. That's something I never did. I never charted. So salute to everybody that's bought the album, listened to the album, and vibing with the album. It is a personal project, but I'm glad that it's circulating and people are still listening. So,
and this is all self-recorded right there where you are, right? Like you're
right here. This is my studio, man. I got me a mic. I got my mic. I got my computer. I got my I got my monitors. You don't need a lot of stuff, guys. You don't. If all my producers at the house with your computer and that's all you need. Yeah, it's all you need. You spend a couple $100. Don't let nobody tell you got to go to a $50,000 studio. You really don't. Not anymore. So
hey, man, stress is definitely another one of my joints, man. Is Mickey's really that bad, man? Is Mickey's really
Listen.
Yeah, man.
What I want, which listen, there's a stretch of music here that I just want to touch on briefly. Yep. Moment of clarity into glorify you, into heavy heart, into 40 days, 40 nights, yes. Story or redemption, into stress is like a run. But to pick up on what Kamal talking about with stress, well, not working, but just in general, you have a bravery within, you know, like your what you're saying and what you're, you know, and I really appreciate that as an artist myself, when you are willing to say, because you say some stuff on here that, you know, when in college, I read a book called Culture of Fear that was really talking about the media and how the media, you know, is very, in many ways poisoning and create certain narratives. And you kind of address some of that on here. You went at, what did you say? You was talking about, you said a lot of things that people probably would not want to hear somebody like you say, right? Like, and I'm like, damn, G, like what is that? Do you care?
I just, I think I know what you're talking about when I say the
BLM, the owner is a Marxist, and you know, how the media portrays certain things, you know, I feel like it and that's documented. You can it's an interview with her saying that she's a trained Marxist, and that's a fact. And so it's and for real, that's why I said on the record, like, that's why y'all looking at me crazy, because I didn't support it. I never supported the Black Lives Matter movement. I support the sentiment, obviously, support the sentiment, the hashtag, but the movement and what it's actually built on is not built to help Black people. And if you don't know that, you can do some research or DM me. We can argue. I don't mind talking about it. But it's a fact, man. You know, when you go back and you do some research, I think it was it's like a couple women that started the movement, that started the Black Lives Matter movement. Salute to them. I think it started with good intentions. But like as time went on, you know, the movement started to kind of deteriorate, and people was complaining. Some of the workers and some of the volunteers were complaining, like, "Yo, we raised all this money. What are we doing?" And if you know, the owner, she bought like 2 cribs, 2 like $1 million homes. This is a fact. You know what I'm saying? I'm aware. I just,
I know. I'm just saying, like, so people listening, I'm not just like out here cooning. I ain't no coon. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm giving you facts. So it's it just needed to be said, bro. Because I think a lot of times we just, as Black folks, we sweep some of that stuff under the rug, man, and we just don't talk about it, and we just don't. Nah, man, that's trash. We can't. If you, because like I said in the song, I said they made 90 million. What y'all do with that bread? And when I said I didn't support it, I was sick in the head. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, man. So I don't really support that, man. But as far as the media goes, yeah, it's the truth. I'm like, man, don't white people get shot by the police? I know somebody else gets shot by the police. They only put up on the news when a Black man is killed by a white officer. You know what I'm saying? They don't, because they're trying to keep driving this fear of the police in this, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that fear isn't warranted. I'm not sitting here saying like, man, the racism, I'm not saying that at all. I get scared when I get pulled over. I've had guns shoved in my face. I've had officers pull me out the car. I've experienced all of that. But I'm just talking about the media and the mindset, like, you know what I mean? And why they do this, they're capitalizing off of this, of this fear. You know what I'm saying? So I just want my people to be aware of it, man, aware of what's being done and it ain't everything that you see ain't always what it is. You know what I mean? So, you know, so.
Word.
Yeah. I picked up on that in the song, and I'm like, damn, I'm like, wow. Like, you don't really, sometimes people, you know, I just thought that was brave for you to speak about certain things that certain people probably didn't want to hear from someone like, you know, or, you know, they're not really listening to what you're saying. Like you're saying, you're not saying you don't support this or that this doesn't happen. You're saying that the media wants to, you know, they're going to show because they know that that's going to get a certain amount of attention, you know, which in a lot of ways is, you know, so. Yeah.
I mean, me and my family went out to a couple marches and I'm all about us, man. You know what I mean? but I'm all about us in truth as well. You know what I'm saying? I believe in truth, and I just think that it's just sad, man. It's sad because a lot of our movements, a lot of our heroes were martyred because of, you know, greed and, you know, selfishness, and stuff got in the way. And you know, you had like, man, I didn't know that when Fred got killed, I didn't know that it was a dude on the inside that was working for the FBI. That just broke my heart. I was like, just dude at your house with your kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I just, that stuff that needed to be said and put on the album. You know, so yeah, I ain't had nobody, you know, hit me yet about it, but I'm sure
after this podcast they will.
Right. I'm sure they will. But bring all of that, bring all of the smoke. I want all the smoke, man, all of the energy. I don't mind talking about it. And
no, we need to have, but I think that there needs to be conversation in general, right? Like, that's always dope, man.
Tell me when I'm wrong. I don't mind saying I'm sorry for being wrong, but yeah, that was one of those songs I needed, and I had a different verse on that. I wrote that verse. That was one of the last like additions to the album, and I wanted to put that out there because the second verse was different, so I changed that, took the verse off, and rewrote that and put that on there.
Okay. Well, come on. Anything else about the album? No? Yay?
No, man. I got my.
But before we go, I want you. I mean, you're a rapper, you're a producer, but hold on. Tell people where they can come get some fades at. Like, what you doing?
Oh man, right. We didn't even talk about that. I'm a professional barber. Been cutting hair for 13 years. Own a barbershop in Lombard, Illinois. It's right outside of Oak Brook and Elmhurst, in that area. Dude can cut. Hair studio. We've been in business for 5 years. We got excellent barbers, safe atmosphere. Bring your family, bring your wife. You're good to go. DudeCanCut.com to book your appointment. We appointment only, no walk-ins. COVID.
Facts.
No walk-ins. Hold on. All right. Well,
no walk-ins.
Again, where can they get the album? The album is everywhere, right? Moment of Clarity is everywhere.
Yes. Moment of Clarity is everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon. Deezer, if that's your thing. Well, there we go, boom. And it is on iTunes. You can get it, you can purchase it on iTunes. It's also on my Bandcamp as well. It's everywhere, man. I just thank y'all for the opportunity to speak about the project. It means a lot to be on here with y'all brothers. Love what y'all doing, man. So
absolutely. I appreciate your time, man.
Yeah.
You know, keep doing what you're doing, man. I'm looking forward to the next project, because this one was a banger.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Word up, man.